the Grottu Orloff Show. Grottu Orloff, rock on!
Hey, we're having a big comic book party here at the Hotel Orloff. Come along with us.
Oh wow, we're having a comic book party. Look at all these comics and records. This is going to be so much fun.
Staying at home, waiting for you. Just won't get it 'cause you say we do. Well, I'm looking for someone.
Wadoozy time!
To the dance floor.
Holy boogie, Batman!
Batman, Robin.
To you, baby, and you get this I'm looking for someone. Sweet God, sleep.
Hang out with us today at the Hotel Orloff. We're having a big comic book party. Years ago, I was at an antique mall and I find this. I like the bird. It's got this stupid sign that says, "Today is the tomorrow you worried about yesterday. So why worry?" Now, this is obviously some newly made sign made by whoever's selling this in the antique mall. And it's just one of these things you get like at Office Depot or something. Office Max. So originally this probably had a card with it when it was sold in the 70s, I would assume. See what the tag says at the bottom. I've misplaced the cat's moving the tripod. I misplaced my glasses last night, so I'm using these readers from the dollar store. I don't know, whatever that says. I can't read it right now. But anyway. So I figure, well, obviously I'm going to need to take this away because it looks horrific. So I think there's all manner of things I could print to put here, but I found something temporary to put here. So let's, I think one of these, the Mary Marble Marching Society Wants You, notice the thing has 5 fingers. I figure one of those might cover up this stupid slogan. So, let me get some scissors. Okay. I don't think this is going to... Yes, it actually covers it perfectly. How about that? Yeah, I don't know anything about that little goony bird. One of those antique malls where everything's horrible, like quilts and little ridiculous things, and you have to really search for something, and that's what I found that day. That long ago day. Now I'm finally fixing the problem. Is that straight? No, it doesn't appear to be. You straighten this, then I've got to go out and get dinner. It's Quesadilla Monday, man. So Okay, so now the bird is promoting the 1960s Marvel Comics Group fan club, the Merry Marvel Marching Society. How about that? So now we've got something that's actually interesting to look at. How about that? Ambrose the cat. Well, this is an arcade machine from 1965, Midway's Monster Gun. That head here was stolen, well, swiped from Famous Monsters of Filmland annual Fear book. So the previous owner of this machine installed like a doorbell, and you press it, instead of giving it a coin, it gives you a free play. And the side art depicts monster tearing a building apart. Yes, indeed. And so this is before computer video games. This is electromechanical. There's a mirror there that way down there is what it reflects what's down at the bottom. But anyway, well, this is awkward. I put the camera on a tripod, but I don't know how well this will work. I was wanting to demonstrate a game. Maybe I should move you guys up some. Okay, what's going on? Seems to be cycling and not working. There we go. Let's try doing it with the lights turned off.
Along with enough stars to start a planetarium. And it's called a Cannonball Run. And now, here's the good part. Tell them got Bert and Tom and Roger Moore and other stars from the movie on special plastic big dog cups. Collector's cups with stars from the movie. The Cannonball Run. To get one of these special big dog cups, all you have to do is go to a participating selling.
Okay, maybe there'll be less reflection now. We can press the button. Oh my gosh.
Star Surgeon? Well, that star reminds me of your left temple. And that Superman over there? Yeah. Well, it's just like the fire in my heart. Oh, Janet.
Ooh, Brad! What's happening to your tape?
What? Oh, you know, why are you trying to move the fucker?
Brad, I think it's alive!
There's Ambrose the cat on top of the machine.
If your favorite case of getting eaten alive, can apply in your car stereo with ATSC.
The on-off switch is up here on the top. He doesn't want me to turn it off. Oh well. Oh well.
The Grottu Orloff Show is the best. That's right, the best show ever. The Grottu Orloff Show. Join the fun. It's the best. The Grottu Orloff Show. Join us for the ultimate experience. It's fun, it's party, it's the best show. Hi everyone, I'm Grottu Orloff, and I've got the best show for you. It's full of thrills, chills, and fun. You won't want to miss it! Welcome to Dr. Orloff's comic book party. I'm Donna Haynes, your host for the night. And let me tell you, Grottu Orloff is one cool ghoul. Join us at midnight on stage.
Well, I've got to go get some butter and dog food. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll see what comic books. We're going to look at some great vintage comic books today and some more issues of Famous Monsters, and we might get a chance to get down in the studio and pre-record a broadcast for KLIF 1190. We'll see if we can do that. Yeah, so let's head on down to the supermarket. You know, I've been keeping an eye out. There's a tribe of feral cats that roam the neighborhood, and last week or so I haven't seen any sign of them. So I'm always but yesterday actually I saw a bunch of little black kittens crossing the street. So maybe there's a new tribe starting. I don't know. Let's check the mail real quick. Or did I already check it? I can't remember. Maybe today's a holiday. Who knows? Oh, we have mail. I'm not sure if I showed you this. This is what it now looks like. I may have been in pause when I thought I was recording, but anyway, I've improved this little Goonie bird. Yes, indeed.
The things we had learned, 'cause you wouldn't.
Welcome to the Gotham Night! Feel the rhythm, let it take flight! Dance with the bat all night long!
Grottu Orloff reminded me of the literature of my youth. I am very grateful. I read these in the Oval Office. They really make me laugh. Look at this. Look at this.
Donald Trump is right. Mad Magazine is the coolest. Welcome to the world of Grottu Orloff. Check out this Mad issue. It's pure satire. Let's dive into the Grottu Orloff show. Grottu Orloff really sends me. He's the living end. Oh, this beat is killer! Grottu, you rock my world!
Now we're heading on to the amazing Mexican restaurant, so come along on a ride with me. Hey, heading off to get Mexican food once again. Listening to a great song by Kevin Johnson, the owner of Gotham City Comics in Mesa, Arizona, created this great song, Shock Monster. And sure is great music to drive by.
The most character ever created!
Sounds like a great Lost Doors song. The only problem with going to this Mexican restaurant is there's a lot of traffic on this highway. All these newcomers coming from California have clogged the roads. Get this song in its entirety, go to Gotham City Comics on YouTube, and he has some of his songs that he created last summer on Suno up on YouTube. You can listen to this music in your car as well. About the traffic, it's really bad.
KLIF 1190 Dynamic Dallas.
Her name was Woman. Her other name was Excitement. And she belonged to Hawaii's Kona coast. Like the waves and the surf riders and the beach bums. She belonged to it all. Until Warner Brothers 7 Arts presents Kona Coast. Starring Richard Boone, Vera Miles, and Joan Blondell as the people trapped by the psychedelic undercurrent of the turned-on world of Hawaii's Kona Coast.
There's a great antique store right here in this house. There's it's called the Crib, and in their corn crib, they've got all these cool antiques.
Kona Coast. Kona Coast is where it's at, in Technicolor.
I'll bring the theater of drive-in near you.
Who, after all, then, has caused all of our troubles?
We're listening to Max Frost, President of the United States. Max Frost at 14, a rock and roll singer. At 16, a multimillionaire. And at 24, President. Max Frost's youth platform sent the kids to the polls and him to the White House.
I don't know if you've ever seen this movie, but you probably heard the hit
You've been
song
listening to
that
Max
came
Frost,
from this
youngest
movie
president
called
in history.
The Shape
His
of
policy,
Things to
amend the
Come. Not the
Constitution. His
Yardbirds
aim,
one,
install all
but
citizens
that's a
over 30
totally
in old
different
age
song.
tax. Never has the U.S. had a president like Max
it's,
Frost. And God help you if you're over 30.
The one that goes,
The voting
"Nothing
age is
can
now
change
14.
the shape of things."
Wild in the Streets, starring Shelley
credited
Withers,
as Max
Christopher Jones,
Frost and
Diane
his
Barcy,
Troopers
Al Holbrook,
on
Richard
the
Pryor,
record.
and guest star Ed Begley is the most daring
Really
motion
great
picture
stuff.
ever made. Wild in the Streets. If you're under 30, you will want to see it. If you're over 30, you better see it.
Now playing at the Capri Theater in downtown Dallas.
Warning. Survive is a motion picture that depicts the most shocking episode in the history of human survival. It's the story of modern-day cannibalism. The recreation of the 1972 Andes plane crash and the survival scenes may be too intense for young teenagers.
When I was in 6th grade, there were a couple of guys that had been taken by their parents to see this movie where people eat people. And it was an R-rated movie, so there's no chance of me seeing it in 6th grade. But they were heroes of the elementary school there for a little while because they could tell us about all the stuff when the plane crashes and a spike goes through somebody's the torso or something, you know. But anyway, that was a movie that came from Mexico that was dubbed into English. But in the 90s, there was another version about another movie about that plane crash, and instead of Survive, it was called Alive, which was the name of the book that came out about it. And I saw that movie in the theater, and that was pretty intense.
Diplomacy, taxes, politics, whatever is news. Quick, concise summaries of all the important stories, written and reported for people on the move. Quick breaking news that's happened within the hour.
We're listening to KLIF out of Dallas. I'm heading down to Seguin near San Antonio to get some Mexican food.
To the point reporting of the facts. Keep in touch with the news.
Seguin was where my grandfather lived. He passed away in 1974.
From the Contemporary Radio Network.
I've been watching a lot of the Memory Crypt of Castle Hills on Rumble. He used to be on YouTube under the name Comic Crypt of Castle Hills. But he's still around. You just got to go to Rumble and look him up. He's putting up all kinds of amazing movies, the cartoons, shows. I'm glad he's still around. That's an old schoolhouse that closed in 1942. When it closed, they only had one student left because they opened some other schools, but it's still standing, but barely. It's July the 18th, 2026. On July 17th, 2019, I started my stupid YouTube channel. So I did an anniversary, 7th anniversary show just a few pick up some Mexican food. That show is uploading right now. It should be up tonight. So make sure you video the show. If you've ever read the book or seen the movie Clockwork Orange, you'll know what vidi means. I've been having fun, honestly, a lot of fun. It annoys some people, but I've been having fun with AI, artificial intelligence, making videos, pictures, and music. I know I'm not supposed to like it. I know I've been told that it's horrible and that it's poisoning people with the AI centers and all that. I hear that they don't need to even build those AI data centers, that they're about to, there's some invention where everything that the data center does is in a box about the size of a shoebox. But anyway, who knows? But the AI is only as good as the person that's commanding it what to do. If you've got a clever, smart person with a sense of humor dealing with the AI, then you're going to get some stuff that's really great. Like Damon Packard, from the great filmmaker in LA, he's played around with AI there for a few years and is getting some amazing results. If you go to Damon Packard's page, and John Goris has a new video up today. I saw it pop up. I'm gonna watch that when I get home. So a lot of great stuff happening in the world of cinema, but it's homemade cinema. You don't count on Hollywood to give you great cinema. It's now time that you can make it yourself. I made a Batman episode where Batman falls in love with Morticia Adams and takes her to the Batcave. And then another one where Batman fights the Kool-Aid Man at a Batman nightclub. Those are on my channel. I'm learning how to do it. I'm going to the AI Leering Center. Instrumental music, it's really hard to tell that it's AI. What gives you a sense that music is AI is when there are voices involved, and AI is still so much in its infancy, it hasn't learned to 100% mimic the human voice, but it's getting close. But instruments, like what we're hearing now, you would have no idea. There's no way to tell that this is humans or robots playing these instruments. But since there are very few musicians today making music like this, I can only think of a handful. I don't see anything wrong with going and producing music on Suno, because I'm not putting anyone out of business. Listening to this music is not putting Taylor Swift out of business or Bad Bunny. You know, you can listen to your Bad Bunny. I'm not going to make any AI Bad Bunny sounding music, so his career is assured. I'm just trying to recreate the fun music of the 60s and 50s and 70s. And having fun with it, man. Something to do. I don't know if we've got a storm blowing in or not. I didn't see anything in the forecast, but things change a lot around here. They can say it's all going to be sunny, and then then there'd be a storm. And
12 noon here on KLIF, the station with a happy difference. Grottu Orloff.
Listening to this Grottu Orloff DJ, he's really mysterious. I wonder who he is.
Ink-stained faces, monster bands, creature claws and silver scars. I've lost enough, I found my stars. Turn a page, let it bite. Black and white in electric light. Every cover pulls me in, I'm back in.
You know, I've lived 61 years and I've never heard a song written about famous monsters in Filmland magazine, but now there are dozens and dozens, scores of songs about famous monsters, country songs, brill building sounding pop songs from the early 60s, surf songs, every genre you can think of. There are now songs in existence about famous monsters in Filmland magazine. And you can hear them over on my Suno page. Look up Grottu Orloff on Suno.com.
Every cover pulls me in, back in that grin. Famous Monsters magazine. Famous Monsters magazine. I like the pride, I like the sheen. Oh, Famous Monsters magazine. Oh, Famous Monsters magazine. Keeps my wild heart 17.
You know, just getting ready to merge out into the adult world, graduating from high school in, May of 1983. And the morning of my high school graduation, I go to see Return of the Jedi. And I'm in this long line at the Forum 303 Mall and watch Return of the Jedi. And later I see it at the North Park Mall in Dallas with a really giant big screen. But anyway, watching it, I'm seeing a bunch of people on YouTube lately that are kind of saying that there are problems with Return of the Jedi, and somehow I thought I was the only person that thought that. By watching it for the first time as an 18-year-old kid, I remember thinking that, Yoda was really cool in Empire Strikes Back, but you've got these Ewoks that are just hideously ugly. They're supposed to be cute, but they have these dead shark eyes that don't blink, and they're just hideous creatures. And I thought that was just really stupid. And then after Star Wars, you watch Empire Strikes Back, and you get a snow battle with these big dinosaur-like tanks, the AT-AT walkers. That was amazing. So in Return of the Jedi, you expect I'm going to see some new type of battle, some new planet. And instead, you see a Death Star at the end that they have to blow up the same way they did, almost the same way they did in the first Star Wars movie. And it's just like George Lucas said, well, I did it the way I wanted to do it the first time. So it's bigger. The Death Star's bigger this time, but I wanted to see something different, and so there's little problems like that. Overall, I love the movie, but it was the last good Star Wars movie. But there were a little, boy, in that little speeder going through the forest, those little flying motorcycles they were on. That's a great scene in a big movie theater with the sound whizzing around you. Anyway, so it's 1983, and it's like, little did I know that soon famous monsters of Filmland and all the Warren magazines would die. And with the 80s, all this, stuff that I love, like comic books, would just be starting to turn into the garbage of the 1990s. I don't know. I had fun in the 80s with my friends. Two of my good friends that I met in 1984 have now passed away. One just a couple of weeks ago, and man, and more friends and family. And one of the reasons I think I really want to do a YouTube channel and why I started 7 years ago is I just kind of want to build a family. And I'd like to meet people that could become like a family, you know, just really good friends. And I have met some great friends on YouTube, and that's a blessing. And I just like to have a family, man, because it's right now kind of just my wife and myself and a dog and 3 cats. We need friends. We need a support network. Anyway,
From 1972, you're tuned into KLIF, Grottu Orloff Summer Spectacular.
but we've got some great friends that we talk to on the phone, and they just don't live anywhere near us. But we just have to get out and meet people around here too. Very nice, friendly folks. It's nice. Maybe we need to find a good church. Starting to look up. I think it's not a really good time, I don't think, for anyone financially, but there are people striving they're trying to make good music. There's some good, you guys, you've got to look up this singer named Bethlehem Shalom. Bethlehem Shalom. She's this great girl singer out of Los Angeles, and she was touring around with the Surfer Jets, who are out of Canada. That's a great all-girl, basically like the Ventures, a surf instrumental band. People like that give me confidence that there are other people out there like me that like the music I like, that are
The Grottu Orloff Show, KLIF, brought to you by Hams
in existence. Every time I make this trip, it seems like it gets a little shorter. Now, you guys can probably just get in your car and drive a few blocks and go to a Taco Bell, but I've got to make quite a drive to get Mexican food, really good, authentic Mexican food. And we found a great place, so it's pretty good. We're coming into the town of Seguin, north of San Antonio. And we reached our destination. This Rexall drugstore is no longer here, but they kept the sign up because this one lady made sure it stayed up because it just looks so cool. And I guess they've got a hair cutting place, and this is some kind of gift shop. I get, well, or is it a restaurant? I can't tell what it is. The Roost. This looks like this is a restaurant. Okay. But smart people keep the sign up, just like they've painted over what they call these ghost signs, where the paint still remains from 100 years ago. And then they painted it to make it look new. It's another smart thing to do. Wow. One time, there was probably a comic book spinner rack right around in there. Who knows what wonderful 1950s and 60s comics were purchased and are still around somewhere that were purchased in that Rexall. They've got this little water park here where it's not a pool, but water will come up and spray because it's a pretty hot day today. You've got Connie's Beauty Bar. And this sign is just the most, looks like it's from the old Wild West. So great. Yeah, it's a little bitty town. And I guess they're about to have the Bluegrass Inn opening. I don't know if that means that we'll have bluegrass music there, but we could hope. Okay, so we're back. Let's go home so we can consume this wonderful food. And dear Heavenly Father, thank you for allowing us to have this food. I need to get into the habit of saying grace to, thank God for the food, all that stuff. What happened to the music, man? No music? Probably get bored with these little travel videos, but it's about the most excitement I get is to get out and explore.
Batcave, Robin. Holy crash, Batman! Faster, Robin! We have to lose them! Holy smokes, Batman! Look at that debris! Hold on tight! We're breaking through! Batman, they're gaining on us! This thing can go faster, right? Push it, Robin! The Batmobile has plenty left! Holy high speed, Batman! This is incredible!
Well, so let's get this big party started and let's look at some great publications from the past, shall we? Let me move you back behind me. Let's move the tripod back here. You can, this way, you'll be able to see what I'm looking at, kind of like you're over my shoulder.
Special guest star Wilfred Hyde-White. Filmed entirely on location in Hong Kong, in Technicolor.
It's my new brilliant idea. I don't know if it's working right or not. Let's see. Let's first take a look at Fantastic Fears. Now, this is not a real comic book. This is a facsimile. And this is, there's a lot of these out there. I don't know how many, and I don't know what all titles they've done, but see, it says facsimile. And it's done by PS Art Books. And there's nothing on the cover that indicates, oh, this is too loud, nothing on the cover that indicates it's a reprint. But, hold on. But you can tell if you're, you know, you can tell. Turn this music down.
It's good to sink your teeth in a Wrigley Spearmint Gum. That lively flavor freshens your mouth.
I had the radio a little loud, sorry about that. What's up there, Kelly the cat? Okay, so this is a pre-code horror comic book that would cost you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to purchase the real thing, but facsimiles you can get for, what do these things cost? I can't find my glasses. These cheap Dollar General glasses. Let's look at it. This grayed out on the back. Oh shoot, this time that 1967 Camaro radio commercial played in the background, it gives you a copyright claim, and then you have to go in and erase that sound. It's like weird. So, I mean, this is glossy, and this is feels like paper, but this is more of a cardstock almost. So anyone that's not a complete novice would be able to tell that this is not a real comic from the 50s. And but this is a way you can read these books and have all the original ads and all the fun with a minimum of cost. Fantastic Fears, January of 1954. Now I did have this on, is this miscut? This book has a miscut. See that? The cardboard's not cut straight. Oh well. Oh, this side. Cat's running all around here today. And I'm just going to put this right in with my other Golden Age comics. Now, I don't really consider this to be Golden Age. A lot of people do consider the Golden Age to go right up to the Silver Age. And comics for the majority of the 50s, people consider them Golden Age. I always have thought that the Golden Age was the late 30s and through the World War II period, and then when the superheroes kind of died off after World War II ended, I would kind of think that there was another period in between Golden Age and Silver Age. Some people call it the Atomic Age, or I've heard someone call it the Uranium Age, or maybe I dreamed that. But the comics of that time period weren't superhero focused. They were more horror and crime focused and romance. It's superheroes were now obsolete because there was no longer the axis to go after. So let's see what we got here. I'm going to put this book in the box. It must be this box. It's backwards. Here's Felix the Cat about to be executed. Here's another facsimile, Dynamic Comics. Here's a real comic, Fairy Tale Parade. And this is Fantastic Fears, another issue of Fantastic Fears. Also a facsimile. And another issue of Fantastic Fears. And boy, for a minute I thought I bought the same one twice, but I didn't. See, the covers are a little similar. Yeah, they don't have issue numbers on them, so I'll just put them in together, and I'd have to open them up to look at the indicia to see what issue numbers they are. It's all right. So I've got a collection of 3 bootleg Fantastic Fears comics. Trailer for the new Avengers movie dropped this morning. It looks pretty boring. Lots of sparkly electricity. It looks bad, man. It just doesn't look good. It looks depressing. It looks like, it just doesn't look fun. And comic books are supposed to be fun. It looks miserable. It looks like a real slog, in fact. I don't know. Maybe you disagree. Here's another facsimile, same company, of Captain Marvel World War II Golden Age comic. Number 17. And these, on the original copies, are often cut out by kids back then. Let's look at this. These are not books I've recently gotten. I've gotten these over the last few years, and I've had them on display in a comic stand, well, in a magazine stand. It was actually the local automobile dealership had a stand where you could look at the books, the little advertising books. They always had promotional booklets for the new car models. Well, at some point, the car companies decided we're not going to print those anymore. People can just go online. And so they had these big wooden magazine stands. And they, I don't know, I guess they must have gone on Marketplace and said, we'll sell these for just, not much. So I went and got them because I knew I could put comic books in them. So I've had these on display there. But I figure, it's time to go ahead and put them in the boxes, and I'll put something else there. Maybe something that are hardcover books, There's little caricatures of the enemy. Captain Marvel was an amazing comic. Let me move this so you can see more of the comic. So, pretty neat thing that this is being done. I like I said, and they don't print the price. They print the price on here. There's nothing modern on this. It says 10 cents. There's no UPC code, barcode on there. So it is exactly as it was, although it's obviously, a reproduction and, the thicker cardstock and all that. Okay, so Captain Marvel, yeah. Okay, so this is another facsimile from the same people. This one's a facsimile of issue 11. And this one that we just looked at is number 17. And then this is a facsimile of issue 26. And then I have a real copy of number 64.
My brother said that he saw the crusher. He slammed the big giant in a big...
There really needs to be more light back here. Hold on. It's all right. This action figure of King Kong came out a couple years ago. They even had it at Target, and there were a lot of people that didn't understand, why does King Kong have all these different shades of color on his face? Yeah, people didn't understand that. Of course, anyone that's a fan of Famous Monsters of Filmland magazine looks at this and immediately knows why. And let me show you. I have several copies of this issue, so did I bring it down? Oh, it's in here. I see. There it is. This is actually, this is King Kong number 108. And see how King Kong's been painted that way. This is the way Basil Gogos painted, with different color light sources. There's the yellow and the pinkish red, and that's just his style. And this is almost completely a reprint of an early 60s issue of Famous Monsters, I think around 1963, from the Kennedy era. And this is a reprint from July of 1974. So about 10 or 11 years later, they reprinted the issue because it was such a great whole issue, photo press book issue, film book issue. Forrest J. Ackerman was a huge fan of King Kong as a kid, and he had a tremendous collection of stills from King Kong. He had actual models that were used to film King Kong. So he put together this amazing book issue in 1963. And the way Warren did it, they would reprint a lot of articles every 10 years. They figured there's a whole new generation of kids reading Famous Monsters, so we can just reprint. It'll save us some time preparing the next issue. We can just reprint stuff from our files, just like Disney before VCRs, before DVDs. They used to release their big movies like every 7 years because they figure another group of kids has gotten old enough to enjoy Snow White and all the classic movies. So they would cycle their old classics every 7 years, which is why, I saw, or 10 years. That's why I saw Mary Poppins around 1972 when I was about to be in second grade, perfect age for that. But the movie really came out, 10 years before that. Anyway, I've got another better copy, but my idea for this one was to put it on display next to this guy. Okay. What do you think? So that's what they were trying to do with this, but a lot of toy collectors were confused and baffled because they were too stupid to be readers of Famous Monsters of Filmland. But anyway, so reprint. One way you can tell, see, July of '74. I was really taken back in a time machine to 1974 last night. I'll explain in a moment. So it says he staggered cinema goers 30 years ago. So 33 to 43, 43 to 53, 53 to 63. So this is all reprints from 1963 coming out 11 years later. But, when this came out, when I was about to go into fourth grade, obviously the first printing of this was before I was born. Okay, so growing up, I would hear the opening credits of a sitcom in the 70s called Alice, and the opening title music was pleasant. It was kind of a nice song. Linda Lavin singing. Linda Lavin had a tremendous voice. Linda Lavin was in that Broadway musical version of Superman, because Batman was on television in '66, and they had Superman come out in a musical on Broadway. But everyone hated it. It didn't get good reviews, but there was one song in that musical that was really great, and it was called You've Got Possibilities. And it's this woman talking to Clark Kent in the song, you're real square, but I see you've got possibilities that you could be something great, not realizing that he's really Superman. So that was Linda Lavin, and that's a great song. If you look up Linda Lavin, you've got possibilities, or just put Linda Lavin Superman into YouTube, you'll get to hear that song. Okay, so I always heard that theme song, and then I would quickly turn the channel because the sitcom I thought was terrible. I could tell good sitcoms that were funny. That one was just, and it was all, Flo, I remember, was the big hit, and she said, "Kiss my grits," and all that. I don't know, I never really gave it a chance, but I guess I must have heard that there was a movie that sitcom was based on. And I don't know why all these years I've been such a huge Martin Scorsese fan, that somehow it didn't compute that I should watch Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore which was a Martin Scorsese movie from 1974. It was in between Mean Streets and Taxi Driver. And it's funny. I wouldn't call it a comedy. It's a drama, but it's a drama with people with personalities and people that have a sense of humor. So does that make it a comedy? I don't know because the movie is so real. It's so you have this happy moment. All of a sudden, everything just goes nuts in the house, and all of a sudden, people are getting slapped, and it feels so real, and they're traveling across country, and Daniel, the Elton John song Daniel's playing on the radio, and everything, you see everything. I forgot about a convenience store called U Totem, and you see one of those. It's such a, you watch that movie and you're drawn right back to 1974. It's free on YouTube. Alice doesn't live here anymore. And it's a great movie. And it has all the same flows in it, but Flo's really great in this. I don't know. The guy that plays Mel, that runs the diner, he's the same actor. Wears the same cap and everything that he did in the movie. But it's weird. It's like if someone made Taxi Driver, it's not like Taxi Driver, but if you made Goodfellas into a sitcom, it's like the tone is so much different between. Well, what other movie that's like that is MASH. MASH was comedy, but it was a very dark, evil comedy. The sense of humor was twisted. And then the sitcom that was on in the 70s was just, it was nothing like, it felt nothing like that movie. Robert Altman. But anyway, so it's fascinating. Harvey Keitel's in it. He's a psychotic character, but he'd be in the next movie that Scorsese made, Taxi Driver. Jodie Foster's in it. I guess she's about 12 when that movie's made, so she was probably 13 13 when Taxi Driver was made. And Chris Christopherson's in it. And if you remember Taxi Driver, Travis Bickle buys a Chris Christopherson record for Sybil Shepherd in that movie, and they talk about how great Chris Christopherson is in that movie. It's a good movie, and it's really fun, and it's on YouTube. YouTube has a lot of movies that are that look great. They're so they have a lot of the Roger Corman, Edgar Allan Poe movies are there. Pit and the Pendulum, Telltale Heart, all that. The Telltale Heart wasn't one of them. The Raven. Well, okay, so that's that. And then they get into more recent stuff. Battle for the Planet of the Apes. Obviously, but everything before this page, I think, was all from that 1963 issue, which I don't have. But this one has a much better cover than the original early 60s issue. Battle for the Planet of the Apes was the Temu finale of the 5-movie series. It was lower budget, and it's still Planet of the Apes, but it wasn't like the other ones. We've been looking at famous monsters of filmland from the 60s, and this is from the 70s. This is more I've been showing you famous monsters that came out when I was in a crib or learning to walk. But now we're I'm about to go into 4th grade, so they have the Planet of the Apes model kits, and what else do they have? Selling the Frank Frazetta covers on the Edgar Rice Burroughs books, H.P. Lovecraft paperbacks. the Pirates of the Caribbean model kits, the reissues of the Aurora superhero kits from the 60s. You saw me about a month ago. I built this model kit on the show. All the Star Trek books, man, I love those. All the Aurora kits, everything wonderful. Star Trek they have for sale. I had almost all of these dinosaur Aurora kits, and now they're coming out again. Oh wow! All these masks. It's amazing. The Mego figures. There's the shock monster, man. Oh, that reminds me. The shock monster reminds me that it's quesadilla Monday, and I've got to go get a quesadilla meal at the local Mexican restaurant. So I'll be back after I get some quesadillas for my wife and I.
Grottu Orloff ain't no square. He's real boss. Grottu tells me what comic books to read. This one's a classic. You should read it. Trust me. I love Frankenstein so much. It's just the best story ever.
Hooray for Grottu Orloff! Yes, hooray for Grottu Orloff!
If I tried to kiss you, would you yell for help?
I don't know. Do you think you'd need any?
Let's watch Grottu Orloff.
All right, we're back looking at this book. That looks like a math teacher I had in high school. I'll tell you what, man. Famous monsters of filmland. Let's look at an imitation. See here, yeah. This is an imitation of Famous Monsters of Filmland. It only lasted for maybe 3 issues. But you can see how they try to get the different lighting effects on the face of this guy who's not a real movie monster. That's just something they created. This was from Atlas Seaboard. Some people call it Atlas. What we know is Marvel Comics was run. It was the publisher his name was Martin Goodman, and he was going to retire in the 70s, early 70s, and he wanted his empire to be handed on to his son Chip Goodman, and instead Marvel decided that they were going to give the publisher title to Stan Lee, who was an editor. So Stan Lee was promoted up to publisher, and Chip Goodman was shut out. So Martin Goodman was pissed off. I don't know if that's an appropriate word to use on YouTube, but he was angry, pretty mad, and he said, "Well, I built all that. I can build a new comic book company, and I'll show, and then I'll put Chip Goodman in charge of my son, and I'll run Marvel out of business. I did it once, I could do it again." So he started a company called Atlas Seaboard, and he started doing comics that were very similar, looked a lot like Marvel's comics. They were a little darker in tone, but he hired top talent because he gave them more creators' rights, where they had retained ownership of things and their art and things, and I guess he paid better maybe. But Atlas Seaboard Comics, I don't think there was a single Atlas Seaboard comic that lasted more than 4 issues. And this was one of their magazines, because they were trying to do everything Marvel was doing. Marvel also had an imitation of Famous Monsters, and it was called, oh man, what was it called? I've got all the issues. Was it something Monsters of the Films? It was very close. But anyway. So you can tell that the layout's not anything like Famous Monsters. First of all, Famous Monsters would have had a big picture of a monster here, but this is an ad for Merlite Industries selling jewelry. And there's not a cool monster picture on the back. It's just boring. But I'm not knocking this magazine. It's a good magazine. There's Ray Harryhausen. But it's well done. It's worth owning. It's just not on par with Famous Monsters. It has a few ads here for Aurora kits, but not as. And they've got a Flintstones kit, but. That was the first issue with the Cyclops from Seventh Voyage of Sinbad. Then they had Weird Tales of the Macabre, which was a hard word to pronounce when you were in 4th grade. The whole Atlas Seaboard Comics started when I was in 4th grade, and they went out of business while I was in 4th grade. It was all happened, and I was really excited. There's a Star Trek article. I was so excited about when Atlas Seaboard started, because I thought I wasn't around for the beginning of Marvel. I missed out on it. I wasn't born yet. But I said, but I'm here now, and I can get all these comics, and I can be like these older guys that were around when Marvel started. But anyway, it didn't turn out. When I saw this episode when I was in 3rd grade, The Gamesters of Triskelion, I really had a crush on this actress, Angelique Pettyjohn. She later went on to be in those Mad Doctor of Blood Island, Beast of Blood, the Blood series from the Philippines with John Ashley in them. She was in those movies. And then she later made some movies in the 70s that we don't want to talk about. But he looks like one of those mixed martial arts guys with their ears like that. Yeah, Star Trek was huge. The little brothers of the guys that watched Star Trek when they were in high school and college in the late 60s, their little brothers got to see Star Trek in reruns in the early 70s, and they fell in love with it with such a passion that all these toys were made and collectible little things. And then the older people that liked it the first time bought some of that too, and then it was right, a Star Trek phenomenon. And then it wound up being made into a movie later. But Disney, the Monster Factory. Well, it seems like it is now. The stuff they're turning out now is certainly monstrous. What was fascinating about this? That book I got when I was in 3rd grade, I think for Christmas. Monsters Who's Who. It was British, so it had villains from Spider-Man and Marvel Comics, but it also had. It was just great. I've got it right over there. But this little ad fascinated me because it's for soundtrack albums, and I was already into soundtrack albums when I was in elementary school, because I had heard the soundtrack to Airport, which was in my dad's record collection. And I think my oldest brother bought it when we were living in Germany. And when you put that record on the Telefunken stereo system that my dad had, and that opening title track for Airport is one of the greatest opening titles, pieces of music. I've always put it up as what are the greatest opening title musics of all time. Maybe the James Bond theme, in the first movie, Dr. No, On Her Majesty's Secret Service, that had a tremendous theme song. Look it up. Just look these things up on YouTube and listen to them. Beat Girl, which is a British movie called Beat Girl. It had John Barry did the music for that too, like with James Bond. Fantastic. And then, Airport, the opening title that's playing while they're cleaning the airport, all the snow and everything. It's just to me that should be the opening title music for something like if they were to make a good Fantastic Four movie. Oh, I was telling you about that Avengers trailer. Apparently, the Fantastic Four now wear white jackets on outside of their blue. Anyway, so I got the soundtrack to Airport 1975, the sequel, and I really like that music. I listen to it all the time. And I see that the filmmaker Damon Packard really liked that too, because he made an AI movie reimagining the opening credit sequence to that music. John Kakavas, I think, was the composer for that. But this is showing soundtrack albums for Barbarella, which I hadn't seen then, Master of the World, Christopher Lee narrating Dracula, but then I see there's a soundtrack to Beneath the Planet of the Apes, which I couldn't believe. Later I got this album, and I also have it on CD, but I was just amazed that how much are they charging for it? $12.50. That's pretty expensive in the mid-70s. I think I paid $5.99 maybe for the Star Wars soundtrack when it came out. I bought the Star Wars soundtrack without ever hearing it. The movie was about to come out. I bought, and the soundtracks are released before the movie's in theaters. And I went to Fantasia Records on Cooper Street in Arlington, Texas, and bought the Star Wars soundtrack album and listened to it. And I knew that music already when I saw the movie in the theater. There's an ad for Pacific Comics, San Diego, California. See, the layout's not that good. I mean, why is there white space there? It's just laid out. Oh, wow. And then there's just gray spots there where they don't have anything. That's bad. That's not good. What? Oh, I have another I have two copies of this. I bought this when I was a kid, right? And I found another copy and I bought it. This is not my original copy. My original copy is in a box with the other issues. But I was looking at this and realizing that there seems to be something missing. And I see there is a page that's been torn out here. Someone must have torn out the head of the Loch Ness Monster, which would have been sideways on this page here. So I'll have to find my other copy and see how good a drawing that was to make it worth tearing it out of your book. Selling are they 8mm or Super 8? Sometimes they'd offer them in both formats. Super 8, 5 sizzling Super 8 Spectaculars on 20-inch reels. I have the Planet of the Apes 8mm, but I never got any of the other ones. And then the Golden Voyage of Sinbad was a new movie in theaters then. That's the soundtrack album to that. What I'm curious, publisher Charles Goodman, Chip Goodman. I need to look up who Torgerson is, who this artist is, because I don't know anything about him. Thanks. Yeah, that's a missing page. Now, this was also an imitation of Famous Monsters of Filmland, but this and the Monster Times are imitations that come so close to, they're equal in my mind. They're both books, magazines that created the same amount of joy when I saw these on the newsstands that I would get seeing Famous Monsters. That's a big compliment. What time is it? What? It's almost 4. Okay. Now this one came out. This is probably about 1967. ABC TV Spider-Man. That's a good hint. And a magazine calculated to blow your mind. Now, that lets you know, and some of the lettering, lets you know, okay, this is being put together by someone with a counterculture kind of mind. This is, as far as J. Ackerman would never use that expression, blow your mind. Anyway, see, it's got stuff on the back, not just a boring ad like in the back of that Movie Monsters magazine. But this book, actually I need to be careful with this book because they would sometimes have inappropriate pictures in here. But I have the complete run of this magazine going back to issue 1, Castle of Frankenstein. It's been revived recently, different people running it. The original guy that did this magazine is long gone. He's oh, look at this wonderful 2-page spread here. Yeah, Castle of Frankenstein, always delivered. You got Viking warrior women from a Hammer movie with Dr. Zaius over here. They know how to lay out the table of contents much better than that one we just looked at. Farewell, Basil Rathbone. And this is, Calvin T. Beck, executive editor and publisher. He's basically the guy that ran it. Contributing editors, let's see if there's any names we know. Frank Bruner, J. Ramsey Campbell, Lynn Carter, Joe Dante, you know him as the filmmaker. Larry Ivy, yeah. This is a lot of famous names in here. Calvin Beck was an odd guy. He was friends with Robert Bloch, and when Robert Bloch wrote the book Psycho, he based Norman Bates on Calvin Beck as far as his personality. Not that Calvin Beck was a murderer, but just his weird, quirky personality and the fact that his mother was very obsessively devoted to her son, and vice versa. That's so all of their friends knew immediately that what Robert Bloch was doing, that was Calvin Beck, the publisher and editor of this magazine that he had put in there. Now, in the book, Norman Bates is a little different than he was portrayed in the movie. He was more into the occult and all that stuff, which is in the book and which is what was the way this guy was in real life. Okay, so it's a conversation with Stan Lee, who had just made himself young. The year before this, he was almost completely bald, and he's put on a wig and got a tan and wanted to be, and he just wanted to look youthful and to be the figurehead of this company to try to sell it to the young baby boomers. So this is obviously from the TV Spider-Man. Article on Planet of the Apes. So what is the exact date of this? 68. This is 1968. Issue number 12. Well, 68 is when Planet of the Apes came out. Now, this comic strip, obviously, someone's been very influenced by the poster art of the hippie generation. It's the Conjurer and the man called Armageddon, is what that says. And He Who Walks in Shadows, conceived, written, and illustrated by Marvin Wolfman and Len Wein. Would later go on to fame at Marvel Comics. But this is when they were still amateurs. And you can see it's amateur art, but it's not bad. These are people that about 5 years later would be making their big names for themselves over at Marvel. Okay. Famous Monsters of Filmland never covered comic books like Stan Lee. It did cover Star Trek minimally, but you would think that Star Trek would have been covered more heavily by Famous Monsters. So I don't know what was going on there. It could be that Ackerman didn't like Gene Roddenberry, because that's possible. Who knows? This is a parody of Flash Gordon done by Frank Bruner. By Bruner. Smash Gordon. See, this is this magazine shows this is why I like this magazine. And if you read this text, it's Castle of Frankenstein is always very well written. And yeah. The interesting thing is what inspired Michael Weldon of the Psychotronic Encyclopedia of Film was what's coming up here. This 2-page War Gods of the Deep. The Frankenstein TV Movie Guide. These tiny little blurbs about horror movies. So, Killer Shrews, 72 Minutes, McClendon, 1959. Man, I gotta find my regular glasses. Fairish, predictable, low-budget SF. Nuclear scientist Peter Graves, killed in plane crash, is revived by extragalactic creatures to aid menagerie. Oh, that's Killers from Space. I'm reading the wrong one. Killer Shrews, deadly grade D thriller with dogs dressed in ridiculous get-ups which are supposed to make them resemble oversized shrews. Amateurish, very dull. James Best, and you see it tells you how long it is, when it came out. This is basically what Michael Weldon put a whole book together with reviews like this. So Gordon McClendon was the owner of KLIF radio, and he also owned a big chain of movie theaters and drive-ins, and he was getting sick of the movies that he was having to rent for his theaters. He said, I can do movies as good as these, so he made the giant Gila monster and the Killer Shrews. So that's why it said McClendon. Was he the director? I'd have to look that up. Look at this article on Ultraman. That was also never covered in Famous Monsters.
This movie is all about a wild race clear across America. Burt Reynolds and Tom DeLuise are starring in it, along with enough stars to start a planetarium. And it's called A Cannonball Run. And now, here's the good part.
Just and this illustrator here, Richard Bojarski, that did this little comic strip. He did a comic strip for the Monster Times later in the 70s. Now, the great thing about Famous Monsters, they had the ads in the back. He's got ads where you can get movies from him. His company is called Gothic Castle. There's more movies he's selling. Continuing the Stan Lee interview.
Slim King Cola. It's a great new diet cola with no aftertaste. Slim King Cola now. Calorie taste. Oh wow.
Wow.
Slim King by King Cola.
Yeah, watch Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore. You'll enjoy that movie. It's free on YouTube. At least I guess it is. We've got the YouTube where you don't have commercials. We pay for that, which is good because YouTube is what I watch more than anything else. When I was a kid, we moved a lot, and the first thing I would learn when we moved to a new city was what all the TV stations were and what they played. My wife sent me a message. I wonder what she needs. That she needs me to get her some food or cook her something. Okay, I didn't see anything. I better tell you what. Let me go to a commercial break that will promote this show, and we'll be back after that. I'll see you.
Grottu Orloff is groovy. Just look at this cover. It's so stylish and futuristic. Grottu Orloff is totally groovy. Grottu Orloff is incredible. The stories are so thrilling and the monsters are amazing. You have to watch it.
Join the Grottu Orloff army. We offer power and adventure. Rarg, join us in battle. Together, we will conquer. Join now.
Let's take a look at this amazing magazine, Rocket to the Moon. Comic magazine. Laughing at the ad on the back. Another facsimile. Before you think that I wish I had these old comics, but Wally Wood art. Look at that. Be the master, not the slave. What does this say? Defend yourself in any situation, anywhere. This was from Avon Publications. This is from 1951. Look at this Wally Wood art. Any one of these panels, if you were to tell a grok to make it photorealistic, you could turn something amazing out. The ads are just spectacular. Look at this. Gun, cigarette lighter. He's using a telescope to look at this girl here. Sorry. I realize this chair rotates, so why have I not just been rotating it around? Look, I can turn and talk to you and then rotate it around. I'm just now realizing that. Except I have all these boxes around me that stop me from doing that. Just classic science fiction based on Flash Gordon and, of course, Edgar Rice Burroughs that inspired Flash Gordon. got a... And then, of course, Edgar Rice Burroughs was inspired by classical mythology. You can keep going back to what the origins of everything are. Rocket to the moon. It just it would have been a lot more spectacular if Neil Armstrong, this was what we saw on television in 1969 instead of those guys hopping around. One small step for man, one giant shot in the belly of a green man. Maybe someday we'll go to a planet where you can shoot green men. I don't know. And have alien princesses with Tulsi Gabbard, Lily Munster white streak in their hair. Why is that such an attractive thing? I don't know. Maybe not all guys like that. I always thought that a streak of a different color is very distinctive. Okay. Why, it's Rod Hathaway, Space Detective. This is, of course, another facsimile. Now, I'm pretty sure this is being done by PS Art Books. I'm almost positive. It doesn't say PS Art Books, it just says facsimile editions. I'm pretty sure these come from England. This ad on the back, they used the same ad when I was a kid. In the 70s, they were still using this Charles Atlas ad. And this comic is from 1951, which was over 20 years before the comics I was seeing, and yet they still had the same photograph of Charles Atlas. But I've seen magazines from the 1930s that have the same ad, except in the 70s, almost the same illustrations, except she's wearing a bikini. In 1951, she has a one-piece. And if you go back to the 1930s, the swimsuit's different, but it's still the same, kicking the chair, punching the bad guy. It's, I can make you a new man, too, in only 15 minutes a day. And, of course, there was a song based on the Charles Atlas ad in Rocky Horror Picture Show, and the off-Broadway, what would you say? Well, it was an off-Broadway. It was a musical in England, and then it was made to a movie musical. So, I was getting these from Kevin Johnson at Gotham City Comics in Mesa, Arizona, and he was getting all of them. But he does. Then Diamond Distributors went out of business, and whether these are still being published, I don't know. If they are, I don't know how they're distributed, and so he doesn't get these anymore. So I don't know if they stopped making these, or if they're still making them. How to get? I guess you could get them from mycomicshop.com or from people on eBay. I don't know, but if you make a product and there's no one to distribute it to comic stores, that kind of makes it hard to stay in business. But this strikes me as a labor of love from people that have loved these comics all their lives, that probably own this comic. And then they just took pictures of it to create this. Anyway, so always these green people causing problems. The green shade of skin for aliens comes from Edgar Rice Burroughs, because when John Carter first arrived on Mars, or Barsoom as they call it, the Martians, he saw eggs, and they started hatching, and these little green guys came out of the eggs with 4 arms, the little baby Martians. So from that comes the expression little green men. Of course, what he didn't realize at that point, he realized it within a minute, because he's looking at little eggs, and then what he doesn't hear are these Martian warriors approaching on horseback from behind him to protect their eggs. And they're 15 feet tall with 4 arms and antenna. Let's see. So, reading a text message. It's like my wife's working till 11 tonight, so I might do another show after this one. We'll see. Anyway, so I think, those books were read by a lot of people back in the 20s and 30s, the John Carter books. And the Tarzan books were too. But the Tarzan books have stayed in the popular consciousness because all the movies and TV shows and comic books. John Carter was more unfilmable back then than Tarzan. Tarzan, you can, get a jungle set and get some strong guy to swing on a vine and you've got a Tarzan movie, but a little harder to make 15-foot tall green guys. So John Carter was kind of forgotten. But the little green men thing stuck with people to the point where it's almost just ingrained in our consciousness. Just little kids know that Martians are supposed to be green. But okay, well, it's Startling Comics, number 49. They've done quite a few, or at least a handful of reprints of Startling Comics. Like when ads gave you more to read. A jukebox bank, that's pretty cool. See, I'll get 1 or 2 new subscribers, and then a song will play in the background like Donald Trump is our king, and then someone will unsubscribe. So I go forward 1 subscriber, and then I lose a subscriber. I'm about to be at 980. I'm at 979. Having said that, someone's gonna, I'll unsubscribe just to but I really would like to get to 1,000 subscribers, because then I can do these live streams through YouTube that look great. But I don't know if you can have guests on the live streams through YouTube or not. That I haven't investigated. I just know that the video quality of a live stream when you go through YouTube is very good. StreamYard, it's very diminished and grainy and it just doesn't look good, in my opinion. Tigra, spelled with a Y. There was later a superhero in Marvel Comics called Tigra that had. I always thought that Tigra in Marvel Comics was based on these tiger women. They're in a Hammer movie called Vampire Circus that have tiger stripes on their bodies. I could be wrong, but I could be right. You know that people that are writing comic books are going, if a Hammer movie comes out, and you're writing horror comics, you're going to be at that theater. Okay, let's start filing these books away. Oh, wow. There's quite a few here. Facsimiles for Startling Comics. This is, I've shown all of these before on my show. So if I don't open them, Chances you'll be able to find that episode. But here's Startling Comics number 50. The one we're just looking at is 49. Ooh, this one's 51. It's like a little bit of a run. 52 and 53. Wouldn't it be great if someone just reprinted the whole series of something? Marvel's starting to do that with the 68 Silver Surfer, and I don't know how many issues they're going to go with it. And they did that with the first 12 issues of Fantastic Four. That was neat. And I like when they do the facsimiles and give you... Okay, where would these go? Here's Speed Comics with the lifting the flag, Iwo Jima, from 1945. It's Speed Comics. And then Strange Planets is, I think it actually came out in the 60s, but that's where I'm going to put my Startling Comics, between those two. And then, would you file this under R for Rod Hathaway or under S for Space Detective? I'm going to file it under S for Space Detective. And then I've got to file Rocket to the Moon here. What? Okay, P-R. Real Clue. Roly Poly Comics. I always love that cover. I guess Rocket to the Moon would go before Roly Poly. I'm just going to put Rod Hathaway under R because I'm there. I'm not going to. Oh, yeah. I think my wife's food should be ready by now. I should go get that ready for her. When we come back after the commercial, we'll look at Web of Evil, number 5. I'll see you in 2 and 2.
Subscribe to Grottu Orloff or die!
Holy shit! I can't even begin to tell you how much Grottu has changed my outlook on life. I think about him all day. Yeah, buddy.
Grottu Orloff changed my life. His humor, his warmth, his musical tastes. Now I'm a proud member of the Grottu Orloff army. Yes, master. I would love to watch the Grottu Orloff show with you. He's really fab and gear. Real boss.
Hey, welcome back. We were going to look at this issue of Web of Evil. Again, also a facsimile edition. Now, I realize this was either $14.99 or $15.99, and that is expensive, but not compared to actually buying an original copy of this, which God knows how much that would be. July 1953. The comics of this time period were becoming controversial because of a book that came out called Seduction of the Innocent by Dr. Frederick Wortham, a psychologist that said that comic books were causing kids to become juvenile delinquents and teaching them how to commit crimes and teaching them all kinds of degenerate thoughts and giving kids nightmares at the very minimum. So the Senate subcommittee was formed, and there were comic book bonfires across the nation. And ultimately, the comic book industry banded together, really under the leadership of the guy that ran Archie Comics, and they created a little symbol to put on the top of every comic book to say that this comic has been reviewed and there's nothing offensive in it. And that was to pacify parents. And so that started at the end of 1954 and really lasted until, I don't know, the 1990s. At some point they just stopped using it. Oh boy. I don't know what things are, man. No, that's not it. Oh, probably. Oh, here. I gotta get all these boxes back upstairs, like, pretty darn quick. Put you in pause for a second. I'm putting Web of Evil into a box with this following it. This is, again, another facsimile. Okay. Those are. Let's see what else we have here. Another facsimile, Captain Marvel Jr., number 4. Some of you may know this. In fact, they made a big point to point it out in that Elvis movie that came out about 2 years ago, the Baz Luhrmann Elvis movie. Showed him reading Captain Marvel Jr. and, you know, the fact that, you know, how Elvis dressed in his later days and the way he wore his hair he was influenced by Captain Marvel Jr. Now, Captain Marvel Jr. is, well, some of this, you know, that kind of looks like a bad color copy there. Sometimes some of these look better than others. They may not have had any better source, and for all I mean, the original comic has to look better than that. It can't have been printed that badly. Or maybe it could have been. Now, that looks pretty good there, but that panel up there looks more kind of grainy. Yeah, that looks kind of bad there, but they may have been working with a comic that was not in the best of shape. Because there's, they have to photograph these from existing comics. So, I don't remember. I don't know if I have any actual real copies of Captain Marvel Jr. Oh, man. Hold on a second. And now, I often talk about the 1990s in a disparaging way, but there was good stuff coming out then. Just really not from the majors. There was 8-Ball and there was neat stuff, but this is actually 1985, but I think, you know, it went on into the 90s. This is fantastic stuff. Okay, that's that. Here's a facsimile of Robot Men of the Lost Planet. There are these little squeeze toys. I had one, but it rotted. But where you squeeze it and the eyes pop out. I first saw them in an underground comic, but then I don't know if this is based on the toys or the toys are based on this comic. I don't know the evolution of that, but certainly a spectacular cover. Here's a Charles Atlas ad that is different than the ad that made a man out of Mac. So this is a science fiction novel, and it's really pretty spectacular. Highbrow science fiction. Notice that when I was reading that review I started to accidentally read the review of Killers from Space in that Castle of Frankenstein magazine, and notice how it said SF for science fiction. The real serious science fiction fans would call it SF. And sci-fi, the expression sci-fi was actually coined by Forrest J. Ackerman. He was very proud of it. And it meant, the hi-fi stereos were all the rage then, so he thought, hi-fi? Why not sci-fi? And so he came up with that. But the really the big science fiction people are kind of very, they're a lot like the people today that flip out if you use wrong terminology about them. We won't get into that, but they want SF used, not sci-fi. They consider that juvenile, and they the Star Trek fans, they don't like to be called Trekkies. They consider that to be an insult. They want to be called Trekkers. This is Woolworth's Happy Christmas book from 1952. These are pretty plentiful. They printed these by the gazillions, and I don't know if there was a warehouse find of these, but I don't know. You kind of see these pretty often. Almost everybody's got this book. How could you not buy this book if you saw it in a comic store? Look at that. That's the real Santa Claus, man. Little golden books, Western gear. On that throwback television channel, they play. They play Hopalong Cassidy real early in the morning. They have Annie Oakley at 4 in the morning Central Time, and Hopalong Cassidy comes on at 4:30. Then at 5 they just have regular cartoons. Oh, some kid followed the line, but very neatly. I don't mind that. It shows this was owned by a real kid. It wasn't just a warehouse find. This is better than I remembered, this little catalog. It's a Santa Claus comic with a catalog in the back. Man, that Donald Duck there does not look like he's fit to be driving. Look at his eyes. Woolworths. I remember Woolworths, and I remember Woolco, and these are stores that my parents called five and dimes, because back then you could buy something for a dime. There's something 10 cents. But then, a few years ago, every little small town was overwhelmed with dollar stores. Dollar Tree, Dollar General, Just a Dollar, stuff like that. And then now, those have, they've had to go to $1.50 stores, but I don't know. Here's one that was not a facsimile. That Woolworths, that was a real comic, and this is a real I love this logo, Thrilling Crime Cases. This is a genuine, real 1950s crime comic. The crime comics are fun. I don't know if this thing's been taped too long, man. Sometimes the tape doesn't want to give. I'm not going to open this one. Well, yeah, I should. I don't know. Let me leave it alone. Is that a one? My gosh. I've got to eat dinner, man. So I think I may do that. Anyway, have a wonderful evening. I'll be back around. I'm going to do another show here in a few minutes after I eat. Take care. Bye.
The Grottu Orloff Show is the best. That's right, the best show ever. The Grottu Orloff Show. Join the fun. It's the best. The Grottu Orloff Show. Join us for the ultimate experience. It's fun. It's fun. It's one of that show.
Vistas Vilnas. Let the inferno dance through our veins.
Hooray for Grottu Orloff! Yes, hooray for Grottu Orloff!
The Grottu Orloff Show is the best! That's right, the best show ever! The Grottu Orloff Show! Join the fun! It's the best! The Grottu Orloff Show? Join us for the ultimate experience! It's fun, it's the best show! Let's twist again, like we did last summer. Yeah, twisting in the fire. Round and round we go. Time to twist. Woo! Feeling the rhythm. Yeah, what a twist. Let's do the 60s twist. Swing it. Yeah, pony time. This is so much fun.
Faster, Robin! We have to lose them! Holy smokes, Batman, look at that debris! Hold on tight, we're breaking through! Batman, they're gaining on us! This thing can go faster, right? Push it, Robin! The Batmobile has plenty left! Holy high speed, Batman! This is incredible!
Grottu Orloff is the best. Grottu Orloff is the best. Grottu Orloff is the best. Orloff is the best. No one does it better.
Join the Grottu Orloff army. We offer power and adventure. Rarg, join us in battle. Together, we will conquer. Join now.
Welcome to Dr. Orloff's comic book party. I'm Donna Haynes, your host for the night. And let me tell you, Grottu Orloff is one cool ghoul. Join us at midnight on stage.
I love Grottu. Grottu. I love Grottu so much.
This is so good. This shop has everything. I love it.
What is that?
I never miss an episode of the Grottu Orloff Show. Face it, Tiger. You just hit the jackpot. Nice to meet you, Peter.